Next, let's find the equation of a line with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 3. So we're given m, our slope is -2, and our y-intercept is 0, 3. That tells me b equals 3. So since I have the y-intercept, I can use the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So this equation becomes y equals -2x plus 3. Problem 3. Find the equation of a line that has a slope of 5 and goes through the point -3, 5. So we know what our slope is. Our slope is 5, but we don't know what the y-intercept is. So rather than using our point-slope form, our slope-intercept form, we need to use our point-slope form. And that's y minus y naught equals m times x minus x naught. And in this case, x naught comma y naught, this point is equal to -3 comma 5. So x naught equals -3, y naught equals 5. So I have y minus 5 equals our slope of 5 times x minus, and we're subtracting a -3, so I'll add an extra parenthesis here so we don't get lost. So this here is the y value of the point. This 5 comes from the slope. And then, of course, I have the x value here of -3. And just in case, since the slope is the same, I'm going to color code these. Since the slope is the same as that y value, so it becomes really clear where each one of these came from. So bear with me while I color code these. And let's make this an orange one so we know where all of these came from, in case you decide to pause the video. All right, now let's work out the arithmetic. Y minus 5 equals 5. And in here I have x plus 3. So y minus 5 equals 5x. And I'm applying the distributive property. So 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 3 is 15. Now I can add 5 to both sides to get y equals 5x plus 20. And now this is in slope-intercept form. Find the equation of a line that has a slope of 2/3 and goes through the point -6, 5. So we're given m equals 2/3. And we're given a point, so we're given x naught comma y naught is equal to -6 comma -5. So x naught equals -6, y naught equals -5. So we can't use the slope-intercept form, so we need to use the point-slope form again. And that's y minus y naught equals m times x minus x naught. So let's start filling in our blanks. We have y minus, y naught is -5, so let's leave that in parentheses, equals m. Our slope is a fraction of 2/3 times x minus -6. So we have a lot of simplification to do here. So let's start by dealing with all of these double negatives. And if you recall, negative times a negative is going to equal a positive. So this becomes y plus 5 equals 2/3 times x plus 6. Now I can apply the distributive property to get on the right-hand side 2/3 x plus, and now what is 6 times 2/3? Let's do that here as an aside. 2/3 times 6. It's going to give us 12/3, which is 4. Alternatively, we could write 2/3 times 6, and we can notice that 3 divides 6 twice. So we end up with 2/3 times 2 times 3. And all I did here was rewrite 6 as 2 times 3 to make it easier to notice this and cross those off to again get 4. Either way, however you multiply these, you should get 4. So 2/3 times 6 is just 4. And on the left-hand side, nothing changed, so I'm going to write it down. And as always, I'm going to keep writing down my equal sign and just do your best to line them up. Now I can subtract 5 from both sides. 5 minus 5 is 0, and I have y equals 2/3 x plus, excuse me, not plus. Positive 4 minus 5 is minus, so negative 1. Find the equation of a line that goes through the points 4, 8, and 5, 5. So now we weren't actually given a slope. We don't know what that is, but we're given 2 points. And we can use those 2 points to find the slope of a line. And now I'd given you an equation for this before, and I'm not going to write it down because I don't want you to just memorize equations and not really understand what they mean. So remember, we need to find the change in y. So the change in the up-down over the change in x. And that's the left-right. So let's look at this. We have 2 y values. Our y values are 8 and 5. So let's start with those. So we're going to find the change in these. 8 minus 5 will give us a change in the y values. And now for the change in x, let's focus on 4 and 8. So we did our 8 and 5 here. Now we're going to do our 4 and 8. More importantly, however, I want to make sure I keep these points lined up. So the 4 corresponds to the y value of 8. So the 4 must go under the 8. And then a minus sign. Now the x value of 5 corresponds to the y value of 5. So I have to make sure to write the 5 here. So this matches my ordered pair. And this here matches this ordered pair. Now we can compute. 8 minus 5 is 3. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. So our slope is negative 3. And you can use either point. It does not matter. So we're going to use our point slope form. So that's y minus y naught equals m times x minus x naught. So I'm going to use the point 5, comma 5. As an exercise, I would try this with 4, comma 8 independently. And you need to make sure you get the same answer when using this point. If you did not, then there must be some arithmetic error. So y minus 5 equals negative 3 times x minus 5. So y minus 5 equals negative 3x plus 15. And if you don't see it, I just applied the distributive property. So let's go ahead and add 5 to both sides. So y equals negative 3x plus 20.